What's up, YouTube? We are getting so close to the end of the year. If Lazy Me has anything to say about it, you're probably watching this video in 2025. But for now, I just wanted to come on and do a quick video. I've got a couple end of the year style videos ready to go. So this is the first one, and we're just going to start with that. But before we get going too hard, I just wanted to say YouTube most likely does not like this video. Anytime I do these types of videos, they don't get a lot of views anymore. There's been a lot of changes and cracking down on stuff, and that's okay. YouTube can do what they want and please advertisers how they want, but what it comes down to is it fucks with my views. So if you guys want to assist the channel in any way, shape, or form, please leave a like, leave a comment. That's all I'm going to say about that. Not going to mention it anymore in this video. I do also want to say that this type of video is in danger. This is my 2024 strain tier list, and all of this is done legally through the power of hemp and the Farm Bill. All of these strains were purchased at legal sources such as dispensaries and smoke shops in my area. Unfortunately, this kind of video is in trouble. This could all be made illegal if Dan Patrick has his way. Texas is trying to ban THC in all forms, and we're going to talk about that in another video, but fuck that guy, and it's some bad stuff all around, dude. Like, it's a bad vibe that I don't want to put here. But this time next year, when I try to do a 2025 tier list, that could actually be illegal. It could be really difficult for me to do. I may have to go black market with it all and not pay taxes like I did on just about every single strain in this tier list. It's a whole thing, man, but all of these were obtained legally. I am very excited to talk about them all and what they did for me, as well as rate them. So let's get right on with the video and do the thing. So as you can see, I have my images ready to go here. I got a nice little template that I found online. I went and downloaded and created every one of these little images because I'm not just going to put a bunch of pictures of the plants. It's literally just, you know, dried up, quite literally showing you images of the flower buds would be not cool. So just the hypocrisy, right? So I made a bunch of little images here, and we're just going to get on with that, and let's go ahead and start. Got a whole pile here. First things first, we're going to start with a few from Emerald Organics Cannabis. I have mentioned that company before in the past. They are a dispensary in my area that has really good vape carts and stuff like that, and their bud selection is just top-notch. They do delivery to the county that they're in. Really good stuff. If you're in that area, for any reason, at any point, a lot of people pass through the Metroplex for this and that, you know, airport, got to be in town for a day or two. Go check out that dispensary if you're looking for something on the level of your out-of-state type of places. So starting nice and mid right out of the gate, I actually had two different variants of Blue Dream, the Emerald Organics one and one from a smoke shop that I'm going to talk about later. Very middle of the road strain, one of the strains that I first tried when I got into cannabis products. Of course, we're going to go with Blue Dream. Blue Dream is such a mass-produced strain that, like, lots of companies put it out. But if you go out to the right dispensary like Emerald and get a nice, fresh pull, man, the smell is great. It can't be beat. Very blueberry, vanilla, slightly piney. Not really super piney like a lot of these strains we have, but just really great all around. Nice and euphoric. Gives me a good head high. Makes me creative. Makes me happy. Just not as strong as some of the strains that I like nowadays, so it does fall right there in the middle, and that'll put a good middle-of-the-road ground to kind of set the bar for this little tier list here. Picked up some Blue Dream from a smoke shop once, and it was just like a little prepackaged eighth, very not so great, you know what I mean? Kind of dry, didn't smoke very well, lots of black ash, you know how it is. Not my type of run, and that's why you definitely can find a C-tier Blue Dream. But the one I got from Emerald Organics and the one that I subsequently got later on in the year, I'm talking like 6-7 months down the line, from GM Tobacco, they were both great. I think the GM Tobacco was like Truffs brand or Trees brand or something. I don't know. They have quite a few brands there. One of these in here is a Crazy Lion, and two of these strains are actually their own brand of bud, which is super cool. We'll be talking about those, both fantastic. Not gonna spoil anything. Get back to the tier list. Sour Diesel. I couldn't really find something to encompass the sour very well, but you see what I mean. I got the little gas pumps in there. There's technically some unleaded in there, but gas is gas, bro. You already know how it is. Sour Diesel is one of those strains that It's just really hard to fuck up. It can be fucked up. I've had some vapes of Sour D, and I've had just one brand of bud. I don't remember. It was a little plastic bag one. It was on clearance. I should have fucking saw the warning signs, but that was some rye ass STEMI D tier bullshit. Don't even remember the package name, but we'll never buy it again. I haven't had to buy shit that bad. That was like 3 years ago. Like it was, there were some dark times in Texas, but right now we are flush. Just about every strain here, like for the Sour D, I'm rating it an A. We're talking about proper great shit. They have this at Emerald Organics. I think I've seen it over at GM as well. But I actually got mine as a gift from B&B Elevation. Don't know if they're still in business. I don't know. I haven't really talked much with them. But I got some Sour D from them that was like rolled around in isolates. It was super keefy, and man, that will put some pep in your step. So Sour D's fantastic, really gassy, super piney, gets you that really nice head high, dude. Like it's like Blue Dream, but shot up to 1,000,000. It's very energetic of a strain for me. And you guys already know how it is. Strains are gonna be different and effective stuff for everyone. You know, someone's gonna smoke an indica strain one day and they're gonna be like thinking at a mile a minute. Other people are gonna smoke that indica and they're just not gonna get up off the sofa. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be watching TV and maybe take a little weed nap. That's just how it works. But yeah, man, these two are really good. Let's get on to our next one. Speaking of weed naps, let's talk about black garlic gelato. Now, wait, is that the black garlic? Oh, that's the black. What is this? Oh, that's black runts. I'm stupid. Black garlic gelato. This is, I thought it was garlic, dude. Like, very GMO-y on the terps. I'm gonna be real. This one was rough. Like, I think it was just because I smoked so much of it. But something about those GMO terps, they're very nice every once in a while. You get you something with a little truffle or a little garlic in it. Just very dirty, earthy, and kind of salty vibes. I personally was not a big fan. It was almost like smoking Parmesan cheese after smoking so much of it. I think it probably could have been rated a little higher if I just didn't smoke so damn much of it. Like, I think that might have drug it down. So this year's variation, I'm going to do a C. That was not any of the ones above. I think that was another B&B strain. But yeah, that one, that's definitely a C. Pretty crazy, the differences between different strains, man. It's just all personal preference. Some people probably really like that earthy, truffly, you know, taste or smell. I personally don't. I love my gas to be more on the piney, citrusy, and occasionally fruity side, but really have that like oomph value. You know, it's gotta be skunky. I love me a good cross skunky strain, and we're gonna talk about a few as we go. But yeah, that one I'm definitely rating down at a C. Speaking of C's, we will do this one here. This is one I've never heard of, but it was some of the weirdest and most interesting smelling flower I've ever had. This was Super Blue Moon Haze, is what he called it. This was a home grow from a friend who is legally licensed to grow. We were visiting and I got to try some of his product. Not the best smoker, I'm gonna be real. The trim job could have used a little work, and like he's getting started, you know. It's not like he's selling the stuff or anything, it's all personal use. But he hooked me up with a big jar of it and I got to cook with it. I made brownies. It was really good. They did the job. It was more on the mellower side, like very CBD-esque, not as like super stony as a lot of these flowers get. Like if I make brownies with, I've made it with the black garlic gelato, I've made it with the Sour D. If I do any edibles with those, they're gonna fucking hit. This one was more mellow. Like I would eat 2 brownies and be like, all right, you know, I'm feeling good. What's the move now? You know, very good stuff. The smell was also interesting. It made, when I decarbed it and made the brownies, it made this like interesting smell and a very interesting like flavor to the brownies. You could taste this almost orangey fruitness to it. I think it was a pretty good, interesting strain. If it were, you know, grown by someone more seasoned, perhaps he's gonna do another batch in the future and, you know, take a little more work to it. It has the potential to be really good. At first, it doesn't seem like this video is gonna be super long, and then I'm like, wow, I still have that many to go. Like, yeah, this is a pretty hefty recording session. Next up, Tangy. Tangy is one of those strains that is super different. Like, it smells orangey. It is very orange. I love when strains have a very interesting color profile or a smell. If it's something different than what you're used to getting, you get kind of a little more appreciation for it. And that's definitely what I felt with the Tangy. I just got a gram of it from Emerald to try, and man, really good. I've always had Tangy in vapes, never really had the flower till this year. Fantastic stuff. Very calming but heady high. Like, it's if it take Blue Dream, but a little more mellow and buzzy. Very, very good one. I would highly recommend it if you have some Tangy at a dispensary near you. Super tasty. Let's do an S tier here. Now, this might sound a little controversial because just like old Blue Dream here, there is a lot of this strain thrown around. It is one of the most popular, like, names for a strain, and a lot of the ones you get might not even be this exact strain. But I am definitely talking here about my first S tier, Pineapple Express. I had this shit years ago. We're talking about this year's batch, also fucking S tier. And the reason why is because both of these, you could tell they were the good stuff. It was pineapple-y, yet also super dank. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever had Trainwreck, but it is a very skunky flower. And Pineapple Express was one of those ones that's just like, it has the potential to leave me couch locked, like, if I let it. But I have more fun getting up and going and walking around or having a conversation, dude, on Pineapple Express. That it's a real eye opener, and it's a nice little, it's a fire start. It's a pop to the brain. I love this stuff. Really good hybrid. Fantastic. Get you some Pineapple Express. Don't get any fake shit. There's a lot that'll say it's Pineapple Express to cash it on the name. Make sure you're getting the dark, beautiful buds. I would put pictures up, but I'm actually trying not to post any actual bud photos in this one just to see how this whole video thing goes. But we experimenting, man. That's what YouTube's all about. Next up, the Grape Ape. I got this one from a dispensary down in Austin. I was just visiting, passing through. I tried a few other strains, but this is like on different occasions. This is the one that stood out to me because rarely do you get something this like potent and flavorful and dark. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll see a lot of darker strains on this tier list. I'm more of the lighter, fruitier side, but and pinier side of things, of course. But the Grape Ape was something special, dude. It was one of those strains I could just zone out to. Super tasty, very smooth, very fruity. I loved it. I mean, I think everyone should try it. It was almost had a bit of creaminess. There's not very many strains bring on that like creaminess. You get a little bit of it in Blue Dream, but not a lot, not as much as you're gonna get with this next strain. But like, you know what I mean? It was a very top tier strain. Absolutely. Excellent. Highly recommend. If they have more, if I ever pass through again, I'll go again. I mean, it was pretty good. This next one is more on the creamy side, gelato. If you've had gelato, you already know. A lot of people I know rate gelato a lot higher because let's be real, gelato's like, it's one of the more luxurier side of things. It's like Bubba Kush, but like, they're also, you get your good gelatos, you get your bad gelatos. The one I had this year was mid. It was a decent, creamy, smooth. It just wasn't on the high tier, like, this wasn't an exotic pack that's gonna cost you $80 for like 3 Gs. It was your run of the mill, like, it's okay. It's weed. And normally this would probably be somewhere around the A tier if it's like a good pack, but this was all right. It is what it is. Another one of them smoke shop brands that was all right. Now, interestingly enough, here we have some outdoor grown. At Emerald Organics, a lot of their stuff, everything is hydroponically grown, but there were a few earth strains this year, and this one here, Hindu Kush. Out of these two, man, it was really hard because I feel like I could put them both at A, but I think Hindu was just a little more down. It's a little too indica. You know what I mean? It had me at a level of, okay, I don't want to do anything. My mind was kind of wandering, slightly paranoid. There was one other strain that I don't have on this tier list called Blue Rhino, and I don't remember if I had that this year or end of last year when I first started shopping at Emerald. But Blue Rhino was like 34% or something, and it made me fucking paranoid as shit. Like, I never bought that strain again. Absolutely not. That is some cheese that I do not want. It was pretty intense. Like I'm a high level smoker. I smoke a lot. I smoke plenty. It just makes me feel good. Rhino stepped up a little strong. Like if your shit's hitting, upper 30s, lower 40s, like why aren't you just dabbing? You could probably get a good terp profile and a good little run off a nice dab. You get a roll a big fat joint, something like Blue Rhino, you're going down for the count. You're gonna get stampeded. But I digress. The Hindu Kush was all right. It was very dark. It was definitely smokier, like pepperier on the flavor. It wasn't bad at all. That was one of the issues I had with the black garlic gelato, those like peppery GMO terps. I'm kind of weird that that was there. Like I've never been to that area. And as you can see, I use a little mountain range here. It's actually Hindu Kush is actually the Hindu Kush or what something like that. It's a mountain range in Asia. So that's interesting. That's probably, closer to where the original stuff's grown. I feel like this might have been grown more locally, not exactly across the region, but it was very different from a lot of the flower that they had there, like what I usually buy and expected. So it was pretty good. We'll talk about the other indoor strain in a minute, but I think it is time to redeem another S tier. This is the first of the hashish brands. This is their Oreos. Oreos is a strain that I would normally put somewhere around the B tier, unless you can find a proper luxurious strain. These were fat nugs, super dark, all the white, bro, on these, all this light that glinted off it was just the trichomes. It was frosty. They said that there's some more strains that I haven't tried yet, so I definitely want to kick on some of those, but that's obviously an S tier. If you are trying to have Oreos, you want that. This makes gelato like dry and not creamy. It was more like a dry. Like the gelato I had this year compared to those Oreos, no way. That's more of it was like a darker, sweeter gelato. Absolutely top tier. It does kind of taste like the fucking cookie. The aftertaste has some cookie to it. Very good stuff. That is also the hashish brands from GM Tobacco. I have one more hashish to talk about, and we will get down to it. But one more I did get from GM Tobacco, and man, I'll be real, was not the biggest fan of this guy. Permanent Marker. It smelled kind of chemically, and it tasted I like earthy strains, but this was earthy and like sour in a bad way. It was not the most pleasant to smoke. I kind of got a little headache off it every time I tried it. It was one of those ones that I kind of gave most of the bud away. Granted, like I only buy a little, couple G's of each, maybe 3-4 grams of each. If I go in and buy like 4 strains, if I get 1 or 2 strains, I usually get 7 grams, 14 grams. Really just depends. Just depends on how I'm feeling and how the shop is stocked. Because if they have a lot of cool stuff I've never had, I'm like, ooh, shit, shopping time. Give me some of this, give me some of that. I'm gonna get a little bit of that. And this was one of those times where I was getting a little bit of everything, and not as good as some of the other strains I picked up that day. It was the one that I'm like, my dad was asking for some bud. I'm like, yeah, here, you can take some of this. Have a gram or 2 of this. I'll keep the good stuff over in the corner. It's all right. It just wasn't. It was powerful and it was heavy, and I just was not a big fan of the terp profile. Orange soda. I don't know if I just had a bad orange soda. It was another one of those prepackaged 8s, not from Emerald. It wasn't from GM. It was from a smoke shop when I first moved over here back in like February. It made me regret going to that shop. I was like, dude, I should have just drove the other way to Emerald. At this time, I was not shopping at GM. I was only shopping at Emerald. So that was all I really had to go on. And I was like, I really didn't want to drive all the way to Keller. Like I just didn't want to do it. Should have though. Absolutely should have. Definitely wasted money on that 8th. Don't remember the brand. It was like a little white top and a shitty sticker. It looked garbage. Like the packaging was bad. Their whole game was bad. Not so good. Now I've had like 3 different variations of runts this year, or as it's also known, lemon cherry gelato. They're the same shit, dude. The same, makeup, the same strain. All the same. I will say the one I got from Emerald Organics was somewhere around the B tier. It was all right, but it didn't hit me as like hard or potent as the one I actually want to talk about. And I think this was Crazy Lion brand perhaps, but I bought this one at GM Tobacco. It was the just lemon cherry gelato, didn't have the Runts name, didn't need the Runts name, because LGC stands on its own. This was a really, really good strain. It was it's one of my preferred strains. Like whenever you get like Runts or Skittles or anything like that, and if it's from a good dispensary, or if the plug is really hooked up, you're gonna get a fine version. You're gonna get a lot of imitators and ones that taste like, there's the weaker tasting ones, and then there's the ones that have that full fruit punchy flavor. And that's definitely where that Runts lands, right there in A. It was just a lemon cherry gelato from Crazy Lion specifically. Next year, if I'm able to do this, they're trying to outlaw all forms of THC here, including hemp-derived THC, THCA, Delta 8, HHC, you name it. They're trying to take away our fucking meds here in the great state of Texas. It's awful. Yeah, I don't know where this is gonna go, man. Hopefully we get to do this next year, but if we do, I'm going to write down the brand name of every single strain so that the tier list can go even more in depth. So yeah, this has been a really fun video. We are not done yet. Got some more strains to go and to talk about. Having a really good time. Going to be a lot longer to edit than I wanted to, but hey, content, right? Moving on, I feel like doing another S tier, and this one I did buy from GM, but it is not Hashish Brands. It was just a very great strain, all around. And I had both of these. Honestly, dude, I wanted to give this one an S, but I'm just thinking on things. Honestly, bro, this one was S tier. And I've seen this strain in the wild before, Halle Berry. When I looked at it, it was when some friends showed me it, or whatever they claimed was Halle Berry. It was definitely green. It had, the fruity colors in there, like purples and stuff, but it wasn't super purple. This particular Halle Berry was called Halle Berry Super Za, and it was fucking pink and orange. It was like redonkulous levels of holy shit, and I couldn't really find much online except the website that sold it and stuff. I think it was a Crazy Lion. Really good. I would gladly get some more. They were scraping the bottom of that barrel to get the eighth of that I got ordered. I ordered an eighth of that, and some of these other ones in the video, but this one stood out. And after I tried it, I gave my dad a little bit, and I just put it up, and I'm like, I'm gonna get this strain later. I'll smoke it after I smoke all my other stuff, and it was very good. Definitely S tier. It was super floral. It was almost like rosy, like a rose smell with like fruit and just pungent. It was perfect. It was really a damn near perfect weed strain for me. It made me feel great. It tasted great. I didn't do any more bowls of that after the first one, and I just started savoring it with my little one hitters, dude. Like I did not want to waste a single step of that. It was fantastic. Super good strain. Some 10 out of 10 shit. I'm gonna be real. Acapulco Gold. This one, oh no, wait, that's not Acapulco Gold. It's actually Durban Poison. That's Durban, South Africa. Acapulco Gold is what I went into the place to get. I looked at it, and it didn't really look super appealing. Like, I've heard of Acapulco Gold. This didn't look as yellow as I thought it would, and I was just like, I don't know if it's a strain that's just very similar or not, so I'm gonna avoid it. I ended up getting this one here. This is one of the indoor grown strains from Emerald Organics. It's like the Hindu Kush here. This one was the Durban Poison, and man, it was pretty tasty. There was very nice heady high. If I had to like describe the flavor, it was, normally you expect like a lot of deep pine. This was more like autumn leaf. It was like almost a spice to it. It was pretty good. I thought it was all right. Very mid, kind of mid compared to some others on the tier list. Like I'm thinking of that Primo Sour D and the Tangy and stuff, and then you got your S tiers. Obviously, like it's hard to place where I like that one there. And I mean, it was all right. My buddy actually picked the Durban and the Hindu out because I was like, well, if the Acapulco's out, what are you thinking? And he helped pick those two. We're like, yeah, you chose the two outdoor strains. That's cool. Really interesting. I think maybe I'm just not so used to that outdoor grown stuff. I would love to try some like Humboldt County, the Emerald Triangle area. They got the three little counties there. I want to try some shit from up there. Mendocino. Like I want to try the good outdoor. If someone got to get me some of that shit. I swear, I am ready. I don't want to fly to fucking Cali. That's it's so far away and it's expensive to go there, and just I don't like California, man. We get enough California people down here in DFW. There ain't no reason. We got good ass weed down here now. We don't need to go to California. If you really want to go experience the best of the best, cream of the crop, go to the Emerald Triangle. I want to someday. It's bucket list items, you know? Now this what confused me earlier because it's the black, but this was actually black runts. This is a home grow, and I actually still have quite a bit of this home grow strain over there on my smoke bench. Like, it's pretty good this time around. I tried this exact same strain the first time this friend grew it, and it was meh. Like, it was a little just like the Blue Moon Haze. Like, it was a little too leafy. You know, it wasn't as compact. It was very dry. This time when he grew it, it actually came out pretty freaking good. This was a much better batch. The first batch was early in the start of the year. This one's later down the road. I liked it a lot better this time around. And I rolled a joint with it actually last night and smoked it out on my patio, just enjoying the outdoor air and all that stuff. Pretty good stuff, man. He's getting better and better. Whenever someone comes in the room like that, I turn off the recording and I take a dab, and this has happened like 3 times now. We've been getting there slowly through this video. I'm starting to feel lit, guys. Not reviewing any of the concentrate. However, I'm going to keep a full list of THC products for next year because I'd love to do this type of thing over again. I'm having a lot of fun. Just dabbing some of that Gary Payton. I went and got a 2.5 gram this time. They actually didn't have that many strains in stock, and it was either because I got the Gorilla Glue the next time I went, and then I wanted to get the, like 2.5 grams. I needed a big fat thing of dabs for a convention over the weekend, and I was like, okay, all they have is Gary Payton and Gorilla Glue. I've had both of these strains before. Screw it. I'll take the Gary again. That was some good shit. Not that I didn't like the Gorilla Glue, it's just that one is very Indo, whereas the Gary has a nice little cerebral uplift to it. It's a very potent hybrid. I did a full review of that on YouTube. Go check it out. I put it on the screen and I put it in the descriptions. Now you have to. I'll comment it or something, man. Just go check it out. But these dabs aside, let's get back to the tier list. We got 5 more to go. We're going to do these two side by side because not only are they going to the exact same category, but they're both just very similar strains in general. We have Skittles and we have Watermelon Skittles. Now, if I had to pick a favorite of the two, it'd be this one, absolutely. That does no reason to put it up there just because it's better than the regular Skittles, but I'm going to explain regular Skittles first. They're both very good strains. Skittles tastes just like you kind of expect it to. I mean, obviously it's smoke, it's weed. You breathe it in, but on the breathe out, bro, get a, like, you ever just have a handful of Skittles where you get the lemon and the lime, a little bit of grape? It's like all of that. You get that little fruity outflow, like after you just ate all the Skittles in one. And it just has that taste. So you're just like, this tastes so much like the candy. Just like Runts tends to sometimes have that really smooth outflow where you're like, bro, did I just have some candy? Yeah, Skittles is absolutely on that level. Oreos, this one definitely, it's the king of that, wow, this tastes like this. But the Skittles here, regular Skittles is good. It's pretty damn decent. I have a Skittles vape review coming up soon, so stick around for that. But really good. I do want to talk this one up because it's actually so much better. I got a little bit of this bud still, so I can, oh damn, I want to show it. I'm not going to show it. I'm trying not to show it, but it's really cool. It's like dark, almost orangey kind of purple. Like it's very brown and orange, you know, like dark old. But both of these, I believe, were Crazy Lion brand, so that's kind of cool. But this really does have that watermelon like taste to it. It was, in my opinion, just a little bit better. It doesn't make it a more superior strain on the tier list, but it was really fucking good. I'd take the watermelon over the regular any day. And yeah, good stuff. This one was really good. I was such a fan. It was Death Star from Emerald Organics. It was like, you ever have any cherry strains, like a cherry pie, or I had this one vape. It was a Trap Star, and it had a very like cherry medicine kind of flavor, but in a good way. It was that, but with a dark dankness. So it was like get that good gassy, like exhale with a hint of cherry fruitiness. Death Star, fantastic fucking strain. It was like 29% or something. It was really strong up there, and I picked it obviously because of the name. I didn't even look at the buds when I was in there that day. I'm like, just give me this and this. And he was like, wow, both of these are really good choices. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you know your shit. And I'm like, okay, I've seen salesmen talking me up, but after I got home and had those, and I remembered some of the other stuff I've had from Emerald, I'm like, no, he's right. I did pick some good shit. I know the fire just by sensing it, dude. I love that dispensary. I do need to go back. I will probably be frequenting it for some 1 gram purchases here in future, just to make little tier lists like this. They got really good carts and disposables as well. I love this fantastic dispensary. Another A-lister to end it off, or we got one more after this really, but this one is Hashish Brands. That just like the Oreos here, it was a really good strain. Honestly, it was very piney yet kind of cinnamony, which is weird. It was a little spiced out, like almost Christmassy, if I had to say. I really like the strain, very heady, good rush. Both of the hashish brands, the Cinderella 99 and the Oreos, were just super moist, sticky, big nugs. Like, you cannot go wrong with that flower. I don't know where they're getting theirs, but if you are able to hit, I think they specifically have it at GM Tobacco. So good, dude. Fantastic strain. So I get a lot of my Crazy Lion and stuff too. So get that. But really good strain. I did not get to make any edibles out of any of the hashish stuff. I thought about it because I had enough, but that's the kind of herb, like, if you're cooking it, it's almost like you're wasting it. I'll cook a Blue Dream. I'll cook a Black Garlic. I'll cook a gelato. I'll cook a fucking, hell, any of these? Probably not. Hey, guys, anything A tier and above, I'm not cooking any of it. Like, all of this, you just want to smoke. You just want to smoke that good stuff because it's what it's made for. A very fantastic flower bud. Um, and we got one more also on the you gotta smoke this. And honestly, guys, it was like super Pineapple Express. This is Northern Lights, and specifically the one I got was a strain. It was Northern Lights #5. And I've had Northern Lights before, very skunky, very kind of piney. But this particular Northern Lights was so frosty and so sticky. Its smell also, it was like a thick pineapple, almost like a papaya, just burst of really exotic fruit. And I'm just like, holy fuck. I took that one in my one hitter very slow after the first bowl because not only was it tasty and it smelled so good, this this shit fucked me up. It had me like baked. And I'm not talking about like I need to go smoke again in an hour. I'm talking it had me sitting for 2.5 hours, like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. Um Best kind of high you can. So that's my 2024 THCA strain tier list. All hemp derived, all legal. Know your cannabis laws, and fight for them. Because Texas fucking sucks. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Lots more content to come. I will see you next time. Yeah, that's it. Peace out.